So, welcome to Girl Chat. I am so excited that you are joining me for our conversation this month. It is August, and that means it is the start of the school year for most of our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, nephews, godchildren, your people, right? Most of us are starting school. And I say us because if our children are starting school, we're starting school. Right. It's a thing. And so, as you know, for Girl Chat, I bring on all of my favorite people so that you can kind of join in on our conversations and see what we're talking about. But so you can always see why my girls are legit. They are legit. So I'm bringing on my favorite, Kichelle, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about what it means to teach in a pandemic, what it means to structure your child in a pandemic, especially with homeschooling, some of the triggers, some tips, those types of things to make it more effective for you and your kiddos. But before we jump into our conversation, I want Kichelle to introduce herself.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on. And it's just, I'm overwhelmed. Okay. So Kichelle, who is she? So I'm Kichelle. I am an educator. So I am actually a dean. So I started off as a classroom teacher. And then I transitioned into my role as a behavior resource teacher, or better known as a dean. And I have been doing that this will be the 4th year as a dean. And then I did 4 years in the classroom as well. So this is actually year 9 for me. So 9 years going strong. Here we are.
Here we are.
Yes, we're here. I am the wife to a teacher. And then I have a now 5-year-old that just started kindergarten. So
wow.
This is it. This is the year
It's
of everything. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay.
We have friends who want to hang out with us.
Clearly. And it's connected to the computer. Isn't that lovely?
Y'all, this is how it goes.
It's real. This is real life.
Real. It's really, 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 really real. So as you can see, Kichelle is the perfect person to join me for Girl Chat this month when we're talking about tips for homeschooling, your children in a pandemic, how to have effective communication with your teachers and the administration during this time, because we're all navigating together. So not only has she been in the classroom, but she's now a dean. So she's in administration as far as I'm concerned. Her husband is a teacher. She's also a mama. So she knows what we're going through for real, not just looking in, but she's actually in it with us. And it was important to me to bring someone on who would be honest and who would be organic and transparent about where she is and where a lot of us are and how we can better navigate forward. Because I know for me in 2020,
it was real.
Was real, like honestly. I think I texted her like multiple times, like, I'm actually not built for this. and she did just that. That was actually like, So, and honestly, I'm going to put this plug in. This is why you guys need to make sure that you're voting on your school board, the officials, all of these things, because our teachers, our admin, they need to get paid what they're worth, because look at him. My children can't be at home with me.
Listen, somebody got to do it. Somebody has to do it, you know?
Yes, they really do. So let's jump into that. Let's talk about why you're where you are. Like, why did you choose this? And what have you seen has been helpful to you to kind of, navigate that as both a parent and a person who's in the system?
So, when I was about to graduate college, it was actually my last year. Yeah. I said, oh, law school, here we go. I'm ready for you. And then something switched, and it was like, no, we're not going to law school. We're going to be a teacher. And that was it. So it was like, okay, teaching, here we are. So I decided to become a teacher because I ultimately feel as if my passion is developing the youth of tomorrow. And so let's go, let's do it. So I've done it, and I'm doing it currently. And, it's been a journey, but it's definitely rewarding. And so I definitely stand behind somebody has to do it. There is a special person and there are special people that are called to be teachers. And
Yes.
so I'm here. Here we go.
And I'm excited because when you talk about there are special people that are called to it, I think that's true because I think we've all been with the teachers who are not called to do it and the teachers who are called to do it. And I'm not, because again, Petra Michelle is not called to it. So I also understand. Look, things happen. We get in situations. We
Yes.
think this is going to be for us. Please don't do that, y'all. Please, like, in
No.
this season, like, don't do that. Send your children to the schools and the teachers, or keep them home if you think that you're available to homeschool or virtual school or whatever to the best of your ability, because it really has an impact on our kids. The pandemic was traumatic for us as adults, but I don't think we've ever really talked about how traumatic it is or was for our children.
Yes, I definitely agree. And being in the school system, I've watched so many come in with that trauma because that's essentially what it is. It's trauma.
Yep.
And so the pandemic has been traumatizing for not just me as an adult, not just you as an adult, but for children as well, because they haven't quite figured out how to manage those emotions. And a lot of times we get so wrapped up in our own emotions, or we think, oh, they're just kids. Oh, but we don't realize that those kids have big emotions that they have not figured out. So it's so important. It's very essential to have those conversations with our kids, to make sure that we tackle those different, I don't want to call it demons, but those different issues at home so that they are well equipped to take on what may come during the school day.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And I want to put a pin in that. You guys know I love pins, so make sure you have your sticky notes out. Your children have big emotions, really, really big emotions, and it is very difficult for them to articulate them. And a lot of times, just like he is telling us, we think, oh, our children are resilient. They bounce back. It's no problem because they're young. It's not a big issue. It's actually a bigger issue for them. It's a much bigger issue.
Yep. Because they have, like I said, they haven't learned how to compartmentalize those different emotions. They haven't figured out, this goes to here, this goes there. So it's very, like I said, it's very important to have those conversations. And as for me being in the school system and being a parent, I'm going to say I have that upper hand because I'm able to, teach Cameron, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to talk about. I know that this is the curriculum that we're going through. Yes, we try to tuck in that social and emotional aspect, but I am also an advocate that it starts at home. And so we gotta start somewhere, and home is where we're gonna start.
I feel like we just talked about this other night. When we were being raised, it started in the house. Like our parents made sure that they sent us a certain type of way, that they were, addressing things in the home, that they were raising, they were teaching, they were doing these things, and that not as much pressure was put on the teachers to both raise and teach.
Yep.
And this is really important, especially when we're talking about the pandemic. So that means that you're actually having to have conversations with your children. Cameron is 5. My children are 5 and 7. Look, and almost 1. My baby's almost 1. But you have to have these conversations. You actually have to do it, even when it seems silly and you think that they're too young for them. Have them anyways, because it begins to start a cadence with them to having these big conversations and realizing their parents are going to listen.
Yep.
They're going to listen.
And at this young age, their minds are so not like you can. They're what do you call them? They're sponges. They're sponges.
Yes.
So though you may think that they're too young to have these conversations, they're catching it. This is the time. This is the time where they're labeled as being a genius because they're able to grab so much and remember it.
Yeah.
And, I don't think we should take that, away from them. Like, oh, they're so young. They can't, yes, they can. They can.
Absolutely 1,000% can get it. And it's up to us as the parents to help them navigate what that looks like for them. And so being intentional with our conversations with them, with making space for them, with also allowing our emotions to be on display. Like, hey, I'm having these big emotions too. How are you feeling right now? Like, everything has been taken away from you. You're not able to go to your friend's house. You're not able to be in big groups. All the birthday parties, all these things are very different.
Right.
Some of these kids are navigating virtual school in kindergarten. Like, Like it's just a lot of things, and being honest with our kids, like, yeah, this is super hard for us, but I know it's hard for you. Let's talk about that.
Right.
I think that that's really, really important. And I think that it would be helpful for you to kind of walk us through what those kind of conversations can look like.
Okay. So as far as, wait, let's bring it back. Okay.
I do this to her all the time, by the way, y'all. Like, I'd be
Look,
asking her multiple questions in one sentence, and she'd just be looking at me like, why you did that?
look, and that's why I had to stop. Let's bring it back, okay? Let's talk. You know I'm a little special, okay? Nah.
Don't do this.
They set me up. Okay. So conversation. So social emotional aspect. You want to start there?
Yes.
Okay. Social emotional aspect, because I feel like that is a big component. Like I said before, our students, our kids, they're carrying so much baggage that we don't think to even address. But it could be something as small as those positive affirmations in the morning. So I know with me and Cameron, we're riding in the car. I am a music girl. I like to listen to music. It determines I don't want to say it determines my mood, but it affects my mood.
It helps.
So if I know I'm going to have a positive day, I know I'm going to have to turn on, my John P. Key, and I'm ready to go. But so in the morning I turn that music down, and we just talk to each other. So what kind of day are you going to have? And teaching her to have those positive, my day, I'm going to have a great day. Okay. Right. How are we going to have a great day? What are the tools or the steps we need to put in place for this day to be great? And even though Cameron is only 5, we started this pre-K, because pre-K was her first year of going to an actual big school. So we have to have these conversations, because like I said, being in the school system, I know what it looks like. I know what it's like for a child to be labeled, because they have so much trauma stemming from different areas, that it's like, okay, I'm going to put this label on this child, and it just goes from there.
It does.
So it's very important to just have those positive conversations, do those positive affirmations, talk candidly. Something as simple as, how was your day?
That's it.
And a lot of times kids don't want to answer those questions, but guess what? It's our job to push. I have a friend, and she says, wow, my she don't tell me none of that. And I'd be like, Cammy, we're gonna sit here till we get out what happened during the school day. And it's not a drill, like I'm not gonna drill you, but I am gonna ask the question, and then I'm gonna ask the follow-up question. If she tells me, oh, my day was good, oh, okay, what did you all do today? Oh, we played outside. Okay, but then give me more. Like, what did you learn? What aspect did you touch on? So just those different candid conversations from the social emotional aspect. And then it helps with that language. Like, we're building conversation, we're building that language, we're building vocabulary. And so that social emotional can tie into academic as well.
Absolutely. And before we transition into the academic, because you gave us a lot of meat there, and because I don't want to miss any of it, your niece is hollering in the back. So y'all about to get the real good stuff, like how my household really is. So I'm going to go get her, and I'm going to be right back. It's also really important to pay attention when your children are calling you. She had the nice big blowout of life. So y'all, when we're talking about the social and emotional aspect, it also means listening. It also means listening, real talk, real time. And that's something that we can, put into practice on every level. Because your girl almost had a mess on her hands had she not gotten up.
Listening is definitely top tier. Okay. We're up here. Nothing else matters.
No, for real. If you hear nothing else, listening matters. Yes. Because if you're talking about having those hard conversations, if you're talking about posing the questions that will help your children to dig deep and to be able to communicate with you, you first have to show them that you can listen to them, because they're not going to talk to you if you're running over them, or if you are putting words in their mouth, or if you're deciding how their emotions are supposed to be, or what they're supposed to be feeling. So it's really, really important, as much as we laugh, make sure that you're listening to your children very early and always often. Right. Very early and always often. It should always be the first thing that you're doing, is listening, so that they can communicate with you the best way they can. Because just like Kichelle was saying, it's hard for them to articulate it, but the more you do it and you become repetitive in being available to listen to them and opening the floor for them to just talk, you'll learn a lot more about where they are and what they're needing.
Yep.
For sure. Absolutely. And you were going to start talking to us about the academic stuff. So let's go there.
Okay. So bring it back. Okay.
Y'all see how she be regulating on me? She's like, what we're not going to do is that. So let's come back this way. That's fine.
No. Okay. So we talked about the social emotional aspect. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, and I know, and I've watched it. So once that social emotional aspect is addressed, then it does spill over into academics so that they are better able to do what they come to school to do. Because we always pose the question of, what are you here for? What are you here to do? And they always respond with, to learn, which is why they're there. And it's one of the main components as to why they're there, because they need to learn. But in that learning process, that could be learning how to manage anger. That could be learning how to get along with their peers. That's always, learning the curriculum, the textbook, whatever they need to know from that component. But yeah, so we definitely want to address that social emotional aspect so that they are able to have that clear mind to learn whatever the teacher is trying to teach them.
Yeah, for sure. You want a clear space, right? If they're already clouded and cluttered, it's going to be very difficult for them to grasp what they need to in that environment, which goes back to the very beginning of our conversation. Everything starts at home. How you send them is how effective they will be.
Yep. Look, couldn't have said it better. And then, that could even stem into the health aspect.
Okay.
So we think about, okay, we address the social emotional, we address the academic, because now, that social emotional, that's going to clear up my mind to learn what I need to learn. And then we get into the health component, because we can talk about mental health, but we can also talk about physical health. So that social emotional, that mental aspect, we're clearing up that space so I can learn what I need to learn academically. And then when we get into the physical aspect, we want to think about the things that we're putting into our bodies. So I watch it, day in, day out. And I have these conversations with my students, be mindful of that bag of chips that you're about to eat. Okay, it's okay to eat one bag, but when we get into 3, 4, 5, then that is where that hyperactivity comes in, and we're busy, we're moving, and we can't focus. So, we try to address that social emotional aspect at the beginning of the day, so that as we maneuver throughout the day, all right, we're clear, we're calm, and then we get to the health aspect of, okay, let's also be very cognizant of what we're putting into our body, so that we are able to have that clear mind, that clear judgment, and get all the knowledge that we need.
That's a huge thing. And I think about it, but I don't think I've ever thought about it like in terms of how much it affects like them during the day. To be honest, I'm pretty selfish and think about how it affects them in my household.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think I've ever been like, oh, me sending Jackson with this extra thing of fruit snacks or this extra donut or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, that's probably going to make it difficult for him to pay attention in class.
And a lot of people don't think about it. And, it's crazy because, even as a parent, like you said, you think about it in your household.
Yes.
But then for me, okay, listen to that. I think about, this is a reflection of me. So I'm very cognizant. I'm like, okay, if Cammie in the classroom and she can't sit still, then I already know they're finna call me, and I'm finna be like, oh Lord, I'm so ashamed. Let me not do that. But it is real. And when former First Lady Michelle Obama talked about My Plate, when she started that initiative in regards to making sure that kids are eating their fruits and vegetables. And so it's beyond the fruits and vegetables, because I don't believe in depriving the body, but I do believe that it's very important to have certain things in moderation. So a lot of times we think, because our kids are young, that they can bounce back. Okay, it's okay if they eat 3 bags of chips and they have this soda. Okay, but then we got to think about, now what is that triggering inside of our body? And I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a health expert, but I see the effects of it day in and day out. And when I'm walking around the different classrooms, and I'm just like, okay, Johnny over there moving, fiddling, and the teachers had to redirect him multiple times. Okay, okay, yes, there could be things, that are affecting him outside of school, but then we want to think about, okay, what did Johnny eat today?
I agree with that. I also think that it's super important, and something that I wish would happen more often is that the schools had greater access to better food, because a lot of these kids come to school and that's their meal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I know that when we were in school, like, y'all remember them nasty behind square pizzas that we all loved?
Yes.
I am sure that was refuse. I'm sure. I don't care what anybody says. And we loved it. And we would get multiple slices of that stuff, like other little food things. I'm like, that stuff is not healthy. Like, it's not healthy. But the schools don't have access to the level of quality foods that they need, especially for those students who actually only eat at school. Like, they only have breakfast, they only have lunch, and that's a wrap. You know what I mean? Because what you're talking to me about is like, hey, what they're eating, what they're experiencing at home, how they're being communicated with, all of this affects how they're able to navigate school, and especially be able to navigate learning in a pandemic. But it's not just us having access. So one of the things that I'm really praying about, and something that you really want to make sure that you're talking to wherever you are, your school boards, your administrators, whatever, is about getting that quality food for them. Because just like you want them to have quality teaching and learning experiences, all those things, if they're only eating there, the schools need better access to quality foods.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know that what we ate when we were there, trash. You know it. That macaroni with the little nasty ham bit things. You know it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know, and we will all get it a second helping.
Loved it. In love, okay, especially the pizza.
Hello, the little square piece, and you be asking your mama, "Can you please get me that square piece?" And they be like, "What are you talking about? There's no square pizza." Yes, there is.
And you know what? I will say I'm definitely thankful for Alachua County being one of those districts that have tried to take initiative in regards to bettering the food that they are giving the students. We have local gardens. So our food and, food service, they do have the gardens and things of that sort. I know that a lot of the sororities and fraternities at UF have started initiatives. For example, my sorority sisters, they've started Delta Fresh. And so that's one of the things that they actually just jump started recently. Well, actually this past summer, in regards to getting those fresh meals and, fresh options into schools. So I'm definitely thankful that Alachua County has tried to jump on board, and they're realizing that, there are so many students that come in with those food insecurities, and we have to address them. No matter how much we feel like our only job is to teach them. No, we play so many different roles. Yeah. No, it's not how it was, when we were growing up, where we come in and, certain things that are going to be addressed at home. No. They have to be addressed in school as well. So I'm definitely thankful for Alachua County in that regard.
I agree. I think that it's really important to, one, give applause where applause is due.
Yeah.
But also continue to hold them to it.
Yes.
Because just like you talked about these other organizations that you're a part of and that you support, like, constantly bringing to the table ways to be more effective, because I know that they can't do it by themselves. I totally understand, and I agree with that. And some parents don't have the access either. So making sure that we're holding those that we can accountable. Sorry, guys, Evie needs to eat. Holding them accountable, making it available to them, because just like we're talking about at home, having these quality conversations, making sure that we're also being involved with the quality organizations that can help our schools be more effective, that can support our teachers, support our administrators, and giving the right type of environment to our children. And that also goes for like homeschooling, because there's homeschooling networks and virtual school, like things like that. So it's a lot more than just sending your children.
Yes.
It's a lot more than just saying, do your homework and leaving them to do it.
Yep.
There's a lot of things are happening, which again, is that. And that's also why you also have to be honest with yourself about what your capacity is and where you need help. reach out to the people that if you find yourself floundering and you don't know what's happening, you're finding it difficult to have these conversations, you're finding it difficult to understand what's happening at your child's school or with their teachers, begin to build the relationship that you need, because you're going to need the help because you're the parent first. And so you're the first point of contact for the child. And so they need to be able to see you demonstrating how to communicate, how to navigate. So I want you to talk to us a little bit about how to better talk to our teachers first, like how to be effective in that.
Yeah. So I did jot down some things. And, this can relate to, if they're digital, so let's say they're at home, or if they're brick and mortar, they're in person. So communication, I'm one of those people that I feel like it is key. Do not wait till the last minute from the parent aspect to tell me something, but also from the teacher aspect, we want to stay on top of that. And I know, we know it's stressful. It's stressful. It's hard, especially because there isn't just one child in the classroom. There are multiple children in the classroom, but you also never want a situation to come about where a parent says, oh, I did not know that this was happening, or this is the first time that I'm hearing of this. So you want to make sure that you're communicating. So I am going to say the first thing that I did write down was to be receptive. A lot of times we go into defense. Okay. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, me too.
You have to have an open mind. So that teacher calls, hey, this happened, blah, blah, blah. And it could be behaviorally or it could be academically. This is what's going on. We don't want to naturally jump to defense mode. Okay, well, I'm not going to go into details, but the biggest thing is to be receptive, be open-minded. Take what that teacher is telling you and learn from it. And also from the teacher aspect, if the parent is speaking to you from their aspect, their concerns, be receptive. Don't think that it's a target on you as a teacher. So that's first.
That's hard. Can I say that? It's really, really hard because we're going to be defensive in general just because it feels like an attack on our parenting. And it feels like we failed in some area. And I think that especially when you're talking about the pandemic and how each of us has been in these silos, we've been alone with our thoughts. And so some of us have had to come face to face with the areas that we aren't as strong in. I know that, and I'm saying that from me personally, like being with my kids and realizing my kids are really, really smart, but I was one of the parents that would be like, okay, y'all know how to do this. Can y'all handle this so I can do work? You know what I mean? And so having to be with them all the time and to see certain things, it was hard because I felt like, whoa, how did I miss this? Or how did I fail in this area? And so then when the teachers are coming to us and being like, hey, these are some concerns, like, I got time for that. Now, look, now, you're not going to bring this to my attention again. Now stop. I've already thought about this. I've handled it. You just sit over there and do your job. And that is a dangerous place to be because, again, we are our child's first demonstration of how to communicate effectively. And if they see us popping off, right.
And they see everything.
They see everything.
They sometimes mimic everything. So when we get into that aspect of popping off, that spills over into the classroom. Because they say,
big.
Big. And so at that point, any respect that they may have had for that teacher is diminished. It's diminished because they say, oh, mommy don't like so-and-so, Miss such and such. So why should I?
So, y'all, even if you think that you're having a conversation on the phone with your girl and you're venting, your children hear it. Even if they're not looking at you and they're acting like they're not listening, they're 1,000% listening. And it will come up again at the most inopportune time. It will come up. And you'll be like, wait a minute now, where did you get that from? Well, you said. And then you will be like ashamed because you're like, I was kind of just upset in that moment. I really wasn't thinking you were listening, but it's too late because just like he was talking about, your children are sponges. And so what you're experiencing and what you're communicating to them, they're taking that in and they're
Yep.
beginning to incorporate it into their experience.
Right.
And this is already traumatic for them. And they're trying to figure out from you how to deal with trauma.
Right.
And
Yep.
so if they see you doing these things, that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Couldn't agree more. Yep. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Two.
Okay.
I'm calling these my 2 A's. We're going to ask questions.
Okay.
We're going to admit. Okay. Ask and admit. So ask those questions,
Yeah.
The mother, father, teacher, you are that child's advocate. Okay. So you got to think the teacher's with the child for 7.5 hours of the day. That's a long time when you think about it, because in the morning they wake up, let's say they wake up 6 o'clock, you have a good hour. You have to be to school at 7:15, 7:45. So that may be 2 hours max that mom, dad has with child. Child is in school 7.5 hours of the day. By the time they're picked up, depending on if they go to after school or not, that may be about 5 o'clock. By that time, they're coming home. They're getting ready to do homework. We're doing dinner. That may be 3 hours. And then they're off to bed. So you got to think that teacher has been with that child for a majority of the day.
Majority of the day. Yeah.
Not including weekends. So that's why I say the teacher, mom, dad, grandparent, that village, they're all a part of that child's upbringing. So it's important to ask those hard questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions, because you all are all working on the same team. And a lot of times, people don't realize that. They think, oh, it's the teacher against me, or the parent against the teacher. Nope, we're all in this together. And it's hard to have those tough conversations, but we have to have them. So ask those questions and then admit when something's wrong, something's not right. Admit when you know that, okay, I need to come together and we need to get on the same page. So those are my 2 A's. Okay. And then
y'all see Evie trying to make her appearance as Auntie is talking.
I see her. I'm like, my girl is ready for her debut.
Hello. Okay? I got y'all.
She is ready. Okay. Or it could be that she hears my voice, but
that could be actually.
Oh my God. Look,
okay, so the 2 A's, go. Give me the next one.
Okay, so respond.
Okay.
And I wrote down these sentence starters, and I'm gonna go through every last one of them. And there's 4. When the school calls, respond. When the teacher emails, respond. When letters are sent home, respond. When the planner is written in, because sometimes that is the teacher's main way of communicating, respond. And it may not seem like that big of a deal, but respond. It's so important, because you got to think, if the shoe was on the other foot, if that teacher didn't respond to you, we're in trouble. And so same thing with the parent. We're going to think about the parent aspect. We want to make sure that we're responding to the teacher as well, because like I said, it's a village. We're here for that child. Yeah, that's it.
I think just in general, just common courtesy. If we're talking about responding, like just think about what you would want. Because again, like I can definitely say, like for me, I was in that selfish mode. Like, I'm the parent, you need to do what I need you to do, blah, blah, blah. But once you really have been through 2020 and realize when you're with your kids, like, I just need to be courteous. Like, these people have been with my children the majority of the day for the majority of the year. And I was too busy to tap in. It is really important that you turn the tide, because again, it's a village mentality. Like, everybody has their function to get this child to where they need to be. Because we're all going through this together. We're literally all going through. And if we're not communicating effectively, if we're not responding to each other, if we're not really making ourselves available for these tough conversations with the adult and the child, then everybody's going to fail. Everybody's going to fail.
Listen, trust me, I know it is hard. There are so many factors that get in the way. But we have to think our ultimate goal is to be there for our child, or, in my aspect, for the children. So it's Girl, look, I'm like,
this is why I brought you though, because I think that people need to hear it from both sides. Like
right.
you can tell it from like being there, but also having the child, because a lot of us are on one side or the other. It's not usually both.
Yeah.
And again, like, yeah, we're not in 2020 anymore. And we're starting like, this is our second school year, I guess, since the
Right.
pandemic started, but we're still navigating the effects of it because nothing is ever going to be the same again. And being honest about our shortcomings before the pandemic started, I think is going to be really, really helpful for how we're navigating the duration of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff was occurring before the pandemic, a
Mhm.
lot of this stuff,
It was.
but we just didn't, again, we didn't tap into it because we didn't have to. We weren't there. And we kind of just let y'all be like, well, y'all got it.
Yeah. Because they were just going by. It was like, okay, here we go. On to the next, on to the next. But now, what I will say, what 2020 made a lot of us do was to sit down and recognize and realize and be with our own thoughts to say, okay, I'm not doing something right. I need to self-reflect. And then, it spills out.
Y'all, she's wilding. She is wild.
She's talking to us. She has her input, okay?
She actually just smiled too. Like, but you're right. Being with our own thoughts and our own children.
Listen, because I'm not gonna lie, y'all probably like, okay, she crazy. But soon, when we were in school that Friday in March, they called that afternoon and said, oh, we will not be returning to school. Okay, so that was a week, and then the following was spring break. We're like, okay, we're coming back. But when they gave that call and said, oh, we will not be coming back, I said, so y'all want me to sit with my own child? You want me to sit with my own child for how long? And then be on Zoom calls and then still, oh, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But
is that
I had to step it up. That was it. I had to step it up. And
that's the best statement.
Yeah.
I had to step it up. You had to step it up as being an administrator, as being a mama, as being a teacher, like all of these things. And then so did we. Yeah. And I think that that's probably like the biggest thing in this conversation is realizing that all of us had to step it up. It wasn't just one section.
Right.
All of us did. Because if we're super honest and super transparent, you talking about you having to be with your own child. We was looking around like, come on now, come on now, come on, come on, come on. I don't pay taxes to have them here all day. I mean, this is girl chat. This is what we do. We're going to be honest and we're going to be like, if we're really being serious as mamas, we have really perfected the before school and the after school. Yep. Yep. We did not perfect that in between. Hello, somebody.
Listen. And that's what I said. It was a shame. I said, I was ashamed because I said, I'd rather be over there with somebody else's child than with my own child. And I said, that's because I give them back at the end of the day.
Because you give them back. That's it. That's it. But, and I mean, and then now think about it for us who don't do no children. None. Because that was me. And I was definitely like, I know y'all wilding. I know y'all ain't mean to send mine. Like, and again, like y'all hear me when I say we love our children. Our children are wonderful and gifts and we're blessed to have them. But there is a real reality that all of us were navigating a trauma and trying to do it in confined spaces like our homes and still having to work, still having to run a household, still having to communicate at a higher level because now you're actually with people around the clock. Like there is a lot of things that a lot of us have not addressed. And now that we're moving into this second year after the beginning of the pandemic, I thought it was really important to come to the table and talk about what we can do to be better parent teachers. And y'all remind me why I had another baby.
Because.
And that's the answer. Because.
I knew, okay? He said it is time. And she's here.
And she's here.
And she's going to let you know that she's here.
Right. This is real. But I think that it's really, really important that you all really begin to have these transparent, organic, honest conversations with yourself and with those people within your village, like he was describing, you know, the teachers, your family members, God, again, yourself, your children, all of these things, because a lot of the stuff that we've kept just in these corners and haven't really addressed is now showing itself.
Right.
A lot, a lot. A lot. And we have an expectation that the teachers and the administrators will be the ones to take care of it. And that's an impossible task.
Right.
It's an impossible task. And I'm not sure that we should wish that on anyone. I think that we should all kind of find our position and play our position so that we can all function well and then our children can thrive because it's not their fault. They don't want to do this. Like, they do not want to, like when Jackson was having to do like the virtual school starting that March, Jackson was like, this is a mess. Like, what are we doing?
Yes. To ask a young child, you know, to navigate, you know, technology. And then you have some teachers who were older and even the younger ones. Because I'm gonna say for me, I was like, okay, you want me to do what? Okay,
yeah, right there.
And you adapt. But
yes.
It's hard.
It's terrifying. That's what it's terrifying because hard things we do.
Yeah.
We do, but we're scared. And we're like, when does this stop? Like, what's going on here? Like, I haven't had to address this. Because just like I said in the beginning, when I had to finally look in the mirror and look at myself and those areas that I realized that I wasn't as strong in, and I had let kind of fall through the cracks, it was scary for me because I was like, wait a minute. I'm not that parent.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not her. I'm not him. Like, I'm not that parent. I got this. And then you realize actually you don't. And it's not a bad thing as long as you're willing to address it and to fix it, like to actively work on fixing it, because I think a lot of us have put pressure on the other camps.
Yeah.
You know, and now that you've given us some of those tools on how to better communicate and how to better navigate, I think it'll be more productive for us. So we're not operating from a place of fear, because that's where I was operating from a place of fear. Like, I don't know. I like literally, y'all, I would talk about, I am not built for this. Like, somebody needs to fix this. This needs to be fixed today. Like, I cannot do this. But then once I got to this place of, you know what? We can do this. We can learn how to communicate better. We can learn how to navigate. You need to take breaks when you need to take breaks. You need to give your children breaks. You need to give yourself grace, give your teachers grace, like all of these things. Do it because your mental health is so important. Your physical health is important. Your education is health, like all those things, but your mental health, that is going to drive so much of this.
Yep.
And the pandemic really showed all of us where our mental health was.
Yep. I can agree more. Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing. And I think that, you know, my prayer is that our conversation will really help people to see that it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Like, what did you say? You have to adapt. You have to be adaptable, flexible, malleable. You have to be honest. You have to be ready. And you have to know who your tribe is. Like, just like, you know, you're talking about your village, so the parents and the family and the teacher, but you also have to have your tribe. And that's what this is, like your girls who you can actually call and text and say, I need help today. I need you to pray for me, or I need you to tap in. I can't, like, I just need a moment, especially those of you who are navigating the homeschooling and the virtual still. It's different. It's totally different. I am no longer a part of y'all's crew, but God bless you. I mean, but I had to know that for myself. Like, I'm being very honest. You know what I mean? Like, I had to know that. And my children, like, I had to tap into my children. So these same conversations that Key and I are telling you to have. You wild. That's not funny. You wild. You have to know to listen to your kids and to have these conversations. What do you want? What do you need? And Jackson was very clear. I want to go to school.
Yeah.
Like, I love you, mommy. It has been great being with you. You're not a good teacher. And she's laughing because she knows that was him. Like, he was like, this ain't it. It's not for you. Like, he was like, it's not for you. When Jackson was teaching me his stuff, like, mommy, actually, that answer is incorrect. He was like, I need to go to school. Like, but you have to know that. So again, all of these things that we're talking about with you are things that we've had to put in practice in our own households. But it starts with having a really good tribe that you can trust and you can have these types of conversations with, and who will be honest with you and who will cover you and really not judge you about where you are and what you're trying to do, because that stuff is hard, y'all. We're going into year 2 of this. Yo.
Yes.
Who would have thought? We thought it was going to be a 2-week thing, y'all. 2 weeks.
No.
We're going into year 2, the second school year navigating a pandemic. 2 weeks versus 2 years.
Yep. And we don't, I mean, we may have an idea of what it looks like. We may have, okay, this is the blueprint, this is the plan. But when you actually put it into action, what is it actually going to look like? We don't know until we actually start walking in it.
That's it. Literally, you don't know until you're walking in it and until you are honest about where you are on that path. Because that's the thing too. We're really good at the highlight reel. Let go of the highlight reel. Adjust, adapt, be malleable, be honest, be transparent, and give your children the space to communicate their big feelings.
Yeah. Yep. And you know, I'm over here, I'm giggling because all I can think about was when we got into the heart of the pandemic, just me calling you from the bathroom, like, girl, look, we gotta pray.
Right now.
We gotta do something.
No, really. Right now, we need to pray right now. and she'll say, I was just sitting there. Girl. I was like, how did you know I was going to text you? Because this ain't it. And she's a horrible iPhone user. And y'all know I'm team Android. So we have to have this janky video call structure. And she just be looking at me like, I'm going to do this because I love you and because I need to see your face. But it really is like, y'all.
And Cody in the background talking about, are y'all on Boost? Like, what is this? Why do I have a shirt? I'm like, Cody, she over there with that Android. This is a hot mess. I can't, but I love her to death. It's her preference. I'm going to support. You support your tribe, okay?
You support your tribe, y'all. You support your tribe. I mean, I am considering an iPhone, but support your tribe. Support your tribe and be good to your tribe. Give your tribe grace because all of us are navigating at different paces. So, know that about them, be available to them, and get you some like mine who are experts in some fields. Okay. Like your tribe needs to cause you to level up, just like you're wanting your children to level up in their education and to be invested in what they're doing. That's what you need to do in your tribe. This is a whole nother topic, but for real. Yeah. Get the friends that force you to level up. Okay, so if all of y'all are on the same level and doing the same thing and have the same mentality, you got the wrong ones.
Yeah.
You got the wrong, because I don't think that she and I would be able to have these types of conversations if we were both like doing the same things all the time. Like, yes, we're very similar and we'll text each other the same thing at the same, like, oh my God, even with cheesecake, we're eating cheese. I'm like, oh my God, I had to say it too. Those are real things. Right. You know what I mean? But she forces me because she knows certain things that I don't know. And she could talk me off certain cliffs and vice versa. And you need to have the tribe, not just the village. We've talked about the village, but you need to have your tribe.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm not even gonna lie. Petra forces me to level up. Okay. Every single day. And she's going to read me. So get you a tribe that you are, because like she said, there may be things that are similar, but it shouldn't be similar every single day, every single moment. Oh, no, she should be able to read me. I be receptive and know that she has my best interest at heart. So that's it.
It is. And it's good. Again, you're the example for your children. So
Yeah.
you're helping your children to not only learn how to communicate effectively. Are you going to choke right now? Are you going to choke right now?
Get her. Okay.
You hear this? But seriously, like it's really important because you are the examples for your kids. So how they communicate effectively, but also the people that they're choosing to communicate with.
Yeah.
So your tribe is an example for them, like how to choose well and to choose those people that are safe spaces and to choose those people that will support them in growing and support them being honest about where they are. All of these things are really important. We talk about academics, but we're also talking about their social, their emotional, their mental well-being, their spiritual well-being, because all of that is going to play a role in how well they do educationally.
Correct. Yep.
That's just what it is.
There's tiers. There's multiple layers to the educational system. And so we want to make sure we're meeting and we're addressing and touching all of those layers so that our kids can be successful. Yep.
1,000%, 1,000%. So before we go and before your niece starts singing, because she's there, y'all, I will tell y'all, I appreciate y'all riding with us for this episode. I'm the only one here with her, so that's why she has to be around. But this is real life. This is what Girl Chat is. It's just girls hanging out together, being transparent. You get our real lives, what's going on. So I thank y'all for riding with me as she gives me the side eye, like why she can't be on video, because it's not her show. There's that. There's that. But before we go, I want you to share your social media handles, all that stuff with the girls so they can connect with you and your business and what you do.
Okay. So outside of teaching, I do have a small business. And she's gonna get me on. It's expanding, okay? Thanks to her. It is
expanding.
She is on my case. But yes, right. Diva of Discipline is my social media handle. So at Diva of Discipline on Instagram and also Diva of Discipline on Facebook. My website is www.divaofdiscipline.com. And so I offer educational consulting. I'm very big on school culture and climate because it's just everything. It's what makes or breaks the school system. So educational consulting in school culture and climate. I also address behavior management strategies so that, teachers are effective, but the students are ultimately effective as well. And then I have apparel. So we have shirts, we have tumblers, we have planners, we have notebooks. So check me out.
Definitely check her out. Definitely buy her out. Definitely make sure that you're making contact with her and you're getting the content that she's giving to make you better parents as far as your children's education path. But also, if you have teacher friends, make sure that they plug in with her, they connect with her, because there's a lot of good stuff that she's giving. The apparel, the tumblers, all that stuff is great, but it's really the educational content and courses that she has for you and will have for you. Hello, that are going to be beneficial. And again, make sure that you like, you subscribe, that you share this with others. We want to make sure that we're growing our community because we're growing together. We're definitely growing together. So I am so appreciative of you, babe, for joining me today and your niece. Baby girl. So I'm so thankful and for you sharing with the girls.
Yes, I'm thankful for you having me. I was nervous, but
but this is us.
Yes, this is us. This is us, and we got to keep it real. So
we have to. It's so super important. I love you. I love you. But again, thank you all so much for joining me and my girl. And make sure that you come back next month, the first Saturday of September. Girl Chat is back. I can't wait for you to see who our guest is. It's going to be really, really good. And September is my favorite month. So I may have 1 or 2 Girl Chats for you. We'll see. But, I won't give you all the goodies right now. So thanks again for watching. Make sure that you like and you subscribe and you hit that bell notification button so that you are always notified when a video uploads. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.